Hello guys, Wahoo here, back on the video. This time around, my response to the new update we have gotten, of course, about and this is a very hot topic at the moment. This is, of course, the $5 restriction to trading and to the marketplace. If you don't know who the other person is on the screen, that is Cash and Clean, and I was going to make a video on it, and he already made one, so I wanted to react to these because I do not agree with what he is saying in this video, and I want to put in my 2 cents in it as well, while I also go over my opinion about it, because I think that this is actually a very, very good thing. And I know there's other ways to do it for sure, but there's also workarounds on those things as well. So I don't think there is a perfect solution out there. I just want to make that I'm very neutral in this because yes, I do have access to myself, but I feel like there's a lot of arguments for and there's a lot of arguments against it. But in some point, I am very thankful in some ways that devs are actually trying to do something and not just like, hey, yeah, you can do whatever you want, you can dupe away, we don't really care, we're not gonna ban anybody or whatever. That's what also a way they could do it, and sure, that would maybe also drive players away, but you never know what is gonna drive players away from the game. Paying for something, I know people don't like to spend their money, but you know, there's definitely also other ways that people don't feel like they want to, especially if people are duping things. I know people are very upset that people dupe things and then they have to pay more for those things as well. So we are gonna go over this video right here. I think, but the bottom line is that if you are unhappy with something in Trove, I think it's very, very important that you speak up and you say what you're unhappy about, and then also come with a solution. And I don't think Cash and Clean in this one is going with a sort of a solution to it. He's just framing, of course, the problem and some stuff, and we're going to take that during. I have watched the video already, so it's not going to be a lie because I wanted to kind of know what I was going into, because if he said the same thing and as I did, I would agree with him, but I am definitely not agreeing with him on this topic right here. I'm not saying, again, and I want to make this very, very clear, I don't think that the $5 one is the only solution, but I'm saying it is a solution, and I'm happy that the devs is doing something about the duping and the, you know, ruin of the game that way, right? And I know somebody's gonna say that the $5 restriction is going to be so, but it basically, the $5 is not something you just pay and then you unlock it. You do get something out of it. You just have to make a purchase for that as well, and we'll see that when he also goes over on the Discord, but you are gonna get something out of it, so you don't have to do this. You can basically play the game without paying anything in Trove still, but you will just not have access to those things as well. You won't have access to the trading post and you won't have to the marketplace, but so you can still play Trove completely for free. It will be quite hard to go through that one, but I'm always kind of recommending people, if they are gonna spend money on Trove, to kind of get some Patreon and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure that it's gonna work in the same. I don't think it doesn't matter what you spend your money on, but buying some Patreon, which helps you out immensely in the beginning. I always recommend people doing that anyway. So. But let's jump into the video. I don't want to, you know, keep talking, but I wanted to make my 2 cents. I think there is plenty of ways to do it, but I don't think there is one better solution than the others. But let's jump into the video.
Videos like this where I have face cam on and I just talk about a situation.
By the way, he's a very attractive man. Just gonna say that I'm not, you know, I'm not, you know, for men in that sense, but he is a very attractive man. I just want to say that.
Not true.
And I love that he has a
marketplace
face cam on now.
situation is new. It just came out today at the time we are recording this, so I'll probably upload this the next day. And I guess not like a lot to go over, but I don't know. I guess we'll just kind of get into it because they did put out a statement over here. So we'll take a look at it. So we have Boots that put up this statement.
So this is the statement that we were posted on the Discord. If you didn't know, this is what we are basically looking at in that sense. So this is what it is, and he's going to go over it, and I'm also going to kind of well, he can explain it
over here. And first of all, I want to say this: I'm not going to put any blame on anyone, not the community managers, maybe the devs a little bit, but like these people are just here to put out a statement for all of us, just so we have an answer. So I don't want to have them being blamed or I don't want really Trove to get attacked for this. I just want to share my overall opinion on everything that's been going on. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys about like if this is a really good change.
So he says he doesn't want to lie to you guys, and I totally think he doesn't lie to you at all, but I don't know why he would say a lie. I don't know, I have never, lied to you guys either. I think it's just very important to say your opinion about it and then also come up with a solution. So I don't know why he's saying that he's not gonna lie, but that's probably because he's gonna not tell you guys that he likes it because he actually doesn't like it. That I think that's where it comes from, but I felt like just the wording of he doesn't want to lie to you guys. It's kind of a little funky, but it's not a big deal.
The better. I'm gonna give my honest thoughts about it. Let's take a look here. So we got the trade feature update. We're always looking for ways to make the trading and the marketplace fair and rewarding for everyone in Trove. As part of this effort, we're making a small update to how trading features are unlocked for new accounts.
Yeah. Keeping this in mind, this is also for new accounts. So if you already basically been playing the game for right now, you can, you have not affected. Some people have been having a bug where they were restricted, not, but they were supposed to not be and stuff like that. But they're fixed. They have fixed that. It should be that it fixed it basically. And if there's any issues, make sure you contact, of course, support if you want to. If you're not supposed to be restricted as well. But yes, existing players are not going to be affected. That's also what he says in this one right here.
So basically saying instead of getting mastery 20 like you would usually do to unlock trading, they're going to add in a different feature, which we'll get into in a second. So who is affected? Existing players are not affected. It says if you play Trove at any point since 2021, you can continue trading just like before. But also it's kind of weird since 2020. What about the OGs like 2015, 2016 or something? I don't know. Either way.
Yeah. Of course, since 2021, that also means, of course, people before that. But anyways, that doesn't really matter.
Your accounts will need to unlock trading before using certain trade features and marketplace functionality. I think that statement alone is fine. I don't think trading should be unlocked straight away. I mean, I guess, I don't know. Maybe they should, but the current situation where you just get mastery 20, I think that's fine. If they wanted to change it up a little bit, I guess sure, they could do that. But then we get into the issue, which in my opinion, I think it's an issue. So, how do new accounts unlock trading? New accounts can unlock trading by purchasing a real money item worth 5 USD or more from the in-game store, and price may vary in other currencies. So you guys can...
Yeah, so again, he's basically saying, again, you have to purchase something, real money item from the store, as I talked about before. It is something you do get in the game, so it's not like you just pay those $5 to unlock, trading, and you just get that extra as well. Now you actually also get, when you spend, I think, like buy something also for $5 US, you actually also get a dragon. I remember actually, maybe I haven't spent money on Trove for a while, and not a new accounts either, but yeah, I think that's just kind of how it is. But you do get something out of it. It's just not a, hey, you have to pay for unlocking that. You just basically get it as soon as you spend $5 or more. You also get that as your extra thing as well. You can now also trade with other people as well.
You can see the situation here. So $5 to unlock trading, and I guess you can unlock this early on, so just paying $5. But like a new player just getting into the game, like making a new player pay $5 just to unlock trading, that is...
Again, you're not only unlocking trading, you're also getting whatever pack you're buying, or if you're buying patron, you also getting that as well. So maybe you never even noticed that you were actually not allowed, or you couldn't trade or use the marketplace either, because in the beginning, like the first, let's say until I wouldn't say mid game, but at least the first, let's say 10 hours or so of playing the game, you don't really need the marketplace. You don't really need to trade anybody. You don't really know anybody yet, basically. So you, at that time, you do know if you want to keep playing the game and then spending a little money on the game to support a free-to-play game. If you play X amount of hours, I feel like if you play X amount of hours in a game, you're not obligated to spend any money in a free-to-play game. You can just do that. But I do feel like if you've invested that much time in the game, you actually like the game, and maybe you want to support it a little bit, you don't have to do very much. And again, it's totally optional. I'm not promoting anybody spending their money on video games, because you never know when a video game is going to be, going out of business, and you shut down and you lose all your money. I talked to a friend yesterday, and he was playing this mobile game. He hasn't spent any money on it. He's just like, taps his phone sometimes and stuff like that. But he showed me a guy that was like spending $300,000 on the game, like over the time that the game was a mobile game, right? And I'm not saying that anybody has that kind of money, but I'm just saying that game as well could go out of business. I don't think with the money he gave them, I don't know if they're doing that, but a game could always go out of business, and you are just not, don't have that money anymore. So that's why I don't promote people spending money on a video game. But if you are going to do it, then make sure you are responsible about doing so as well. So it's basically the thing where you can buy really expensive food, and you can buy normal food. And why would you, because it tastes really good, right? The really good food tastes really good, but it's not necessary, because basically you just need food to survive, right? So it doesn't really make sense to buy it, but you want it because it tastes really nice. And it's kind of the same thing here. You can, keep playing free to play, and you couldn't just trade or anything like that. So I feel like there's some comparisons to that it's not necessary, but maybe you do want to spend that extra money for that. I don't know if there was the best analogy with the food thing, but
horrible.
That's what I'm
so basically what they're saying is they want you to play Trove Iron Man, and if you do pay, it just kind of adds on to the whole pay to win thing. So
all right, so I just want to address the pay to win thing, because I think that's very important here. I never see Trove as pay to win, because you're not winning anything. I just want to, like, if you go into paying to win, so if you paid to win, for example, if you went into, let's say, a drag race or something like that, let's say you're two cars and you pay the other guy to not even drive at all, and then you basically win the match, right? But there's no winning in Trove. There's really no winning in Trove. You make your own rules. So I know that people say, hey, if you're number one on the leaderboards, you won the game. Well, that's to you. It's not to me. I'm like 1,000, like I'm top 1,000 or something like that, total mastery or something like that. And to me, being number one on the mastery is not winning the game. If it is to you, then sure, that's the perspective you have. But the perspective I have is that I do not win. So if your perspective is that you want to be number one on the leaderboard, yes, then it is pay to win, or pay to progress faster, which I think it is. If you have for example, Patron gives you a lot of bonuses that makes you progress faster. It doesn't make you number one on the leaderboard. It will if you put in the time, and you also buy a bunch of other packs and such, but pay to win is very different than pay to progress. So just want to make sure that that's my opinion about it. So if you think it's pay to win, sure, that's totally you. That's your opinion. I'm not going to be, but I'm just saying this is my opinion about it, that it's pay to progress faster, or pay to progress if you want to say it like that. But pay to win is that you are winning, right? That's how it seems to me, right? And again, you don't win in Trove by, paying things, at least in my mind. Yes, there are some that is tied into that, but again, it's all skins. For example, if you buy a skin pack, for example, yes, there is some mastery in that, and sure, that gives you some power in the end and all that stuff, but it actually is not that much. If you look over your power, if you go in game right now, for example, if I go in game right now, gems are what is basically boosting all of that. And yes, you can also pay for your gems to, progress faster on those for real money. But I haven't done that, and I'm saying, yeah, you can say, well, you've also been playing a long time. Yeah, I've invested a lot of time, so I can also harvest all of those rewards because I've been playing a long time. And you can take a shortcut by using your real money if you want to choose to do so, or you have to put in your time to do so. Time is money, money is time. So that is just my 2 cents about the pay to win. I don't think Trove is pay to win, because again, you're not winning unless you have a perspective of being number one on the leaderboards. If that is your win, then sure, you are totally right about the pay to win, but I stay by my statement.
If you want to make progress in Trove, you have to put in money. That's pretty much what they're saying. Now, I know that there are people that buy Patron. I don't know the exact items that are included in this. Like, I don't know if patron will count.
I'm pretty sure
it
Patreon's
should,
with it.
since it meets the 5 USD requirements. And then I would imagine, like,
But
just buying something as little as this, the credits, that should count, or the credit pouches. But the big thing is, why do we need to? My theory, I guess, for this is they're trying to combat the dupers from this. So if somebody that was cheating were to destroy the marketplace, they would have to pay the $5. Now, let's put it this way. If somebody has the ability to dupe, that means they're going against the game's TOS. And if you had the ability to dupe, these people are most likely profiting from the game.
If they are if they are making money, let's just put it in the right ways. If they are making money off the game, then sure, you cannot, stop that. And there's many loopholes in all of these ways of basically, people are going to find those loopholes any way they can. And that's why I've said in the beginning, I don't think it's the completely right solution, but I don't have a better solution to stopping the duping other than fixing the things that makes people dupe the things. And maybe this is one of the steps in that, trying to make some sort of reality to this problem. So I will also talk about this later on, about other options and such. And again, I basically said it before that you shouldn't just say the problem and then you don't come with any fixes to it. But I think this is completely a code thing where they should just, fix the code. I don't think that we should. I think there should be some restrictions to when you can trade and when you can use the marketplace. I don't know if $5 is the right step in the right direction, but there's other options as well. But those has also loopholes as well. So that's basically what I'm saying. I don't think it's a problem, so I don't really have any solution to it either, because I don't see it as a problem. But I feel like it's a step to trying to make people just not make an account, and then of course also make that as a hey, we are just going to make a bunch of accounts and then flush the whole system or whole marketplace, right?
So I would imagine thousands, even millions of dollars potentially. And you might think I'm joking, but there are people that have made millions just off of this game, just from selling items. So the $5 is just meaningless. And even if they increase that price, that just hurts newer players even more. So right now their core focus is just the people that play the game right now. And at a certain point, like, the updates are just not getting any better. There's just constant duping going on. Things are just untradeable. We don't even have access to the trade post still, which is crazy. So because...
And I just want to mention this because he says we don't have access to the trade post either. But I feel like the devs, and I'm not here to be their lawyer or anything like that. I just want to say that the problem is not only the devs here. It's not only the devs, it's also the community. I'm not saying the community, like my community or anybody else, Cash and Clean's community or anybody, but there is a few bad eggs in there. Like, we are maybe like 30,000 people playing this game on PC at least, or maybe a little bit more. And maybe there is like 10 or 20 people that are, it's a very, very small fraction of people that are destroying the game for everybody else, because there's a lot of people that don't use all of these things. And there's also people who use some other things and so on and so on. I don't know the exact numbers, but I'm just guessing that it's a very few people that actually are doing this. And maybe it's all the people that are doing it. I don't know. I don't ask people, everybody I see, are you cheating or are you duping things? But my point is basically that I feel like it's not a 100% dev's fault. I don't think it's a 100% community fault. Basically, I feel like it's a 50-50 thing, because the devs should have really nice, if they can do so. I am not a programmer, I'm not an engineer, all that stuff. But I think they should be having their game basically as good as they can get it. And if they can't, then if they have to resource it out, if they want to try to do so as well. But I also feel like the community has some responsibility. Like, the devs have responsibility, but we also have responsibility as playing the game, saying, hey, I'm not going to dupe. So if people just stop duping, for example, let's say we live in a perfect world where everybody just stopped duping, the duping problem will be over. You see that? How easy that was to fix if people did that. But of course, people are not going to do that. And I don't live in the fantasy world, but basically, they could just fix it by people stopping. If people stop doing that, hey, that fixes the problem. If the devs just, fix the game, then they would also be done with it, right? So it basically goes both ways. I'm not saying it can only be the devs' fault having all these things. It can also be the communities, because they're the communities that are doing it. It's not the devs that are duping their own items. That would be kind of weird, right? But I'm just saying that we basically have 50-50 responsibility for, also doing, following the rules. They have rules, but you should also follow the rules, if you know what I mean, right?
Which is crazy. So because of this, I believe that the player base for Trove is just going to keep going down, and it just doesn't make sense for a new player. Like, I can't really recommend this game anymore to a new player. Like, even before the trade restriction stuff, like, I wouldn't really recommend the game to a new player.
All right, so I just want to address this. I know I haven't gone long in the video, but I just want to address this. Basically, he says he can't recommend the game to a new player. I feel like it really can still. Like, I don't think that this is anyway. Again, I feel like Trove has been in the best place it's ever been, content-wise, game-wise. We don't have any lag anymore, and we still have these trouble with these cheaters, and I know they're very on top of it and they're trying their best. But again, if I basically go back to what I said before, was that if we just if people just stop doing that, I don't know, people not going to do it. I know. But if people just did that, the problem would already be fixed, right? That's the thing. Then this wouldn't be an issue. We didn't have to have the $5. So basically, if people did stop duping, there was no necessary for buying, like putting trading and such things under or the marketplace underneath of the $5 that you would have to spend in a game to do so. So I'm just saying, hey, maybe we should not only fire shots at the devs, but we should also maybe kind of talk to a community. I know Cash and Clean is also against cheating and all that stuff, but my point is just we should also be realistic about what we basically who we are blaming for these kind of things, because again, it's not the devs that are making the dupes, it is the community.
Player, just from the current state of the game, and if they happen to improve it, then yeah, maybe I would. Or if somebody's a returning player, maybe I can make the recommendation, but right now I don't think I can. And the fact that they added this on top of it, I can't recommend this to a new player. I'm going to be honest, like, I just can't. If I'd never seen this game before, like, I would think it's pretty fun. There's stuff to do. It's a grindy game. But when they really get into it, get into the time-gated resources, realize they have to spend money on the game, then that's just not fun anymore. Like,
Again, you don't have to spend money on the game. It's really still very optional. If you want to progress to the end, you probably need, the marketplace and trading and such. Of course, that is a core part of the game. But if you spend, like I said, 500 hours in the game, like just 10 hours, 20 hours in the game, I really feel like you are going to spend a little bit of money on the game. I feel like you're not obligated. It's kind of like would be a sort of a little bit of a courtesy thing, thank you for all the content. And there is like real money real money. There's real people behind it, right? That also has to make a living, and I'm saying you should do that. I'm not saying that at all. Just hear me out. But the point is, you could give a little bit. It wouldn't be too hard to do so. Take, for example, a Netflix subscription. Take a subscription to World of Warcraft. You can't even play World of Warcraft if you don't pay every single month. And I know Trove is not World of Warcraft in any way, but I'm just saying there are other ways as well. People, pay things to actually enjoy things as well. So I don't see why Trove shouldn't. I don't say Trove should have like a bunch of things you have to pay or you have a subscription or anything like that. I'm not saying Trove should add that at all, because then I would also probably stop playing if they had a subscription. So I'm not saying that at all, but my point is basically that spending $5 on a game is not very much, and it could be much for somebody. I know it can be much for somebody, but then there is definitely other options you can go out there and choose, and he kind of talks about that as well.
I'm gonna be honest, I'd rather pay for skins in Overwatch than buying the thing for
yeah, like you said right there, we'd rather buy it, spend it on, those $5 on, for example, like it says Overwatch. And I would also rather spend my $5 on, for example, I would pay that for some Pokemon cards. That's what I was about to say. I wish I could use some Pokemon cards, right, instead of spending on Trove, for example. But if they said, hey, you should, spend those $5 to play the game, I would pay those $5. Just take, for example, also Diablo. I play Diablo, and to continue playing that, I have bought the new expansion. I bought the lowest one because I don't care about all those other bling things. But to continue playing, for example, also World of Warcraft, I'm about to say again, but I mean, of course, Diablo. If I was to continue playing Diablo, then of course I would 100%. I have to, pay that price of, I don't know what it was, but like $15 or something like that. And I know again, Diablo 4 is nothing like Trove and such, but there's points where other games has done so as well. And I'm not making excuses for Trove, but I'm just kind of normalizing the whole thing. I'm just kind of saying, that you should maybe reconsidering not making it that big of a controversial.
$5. And I mean, I know that I have it already since I obviously have been playing since 2021. I mean, even before that. But going back to the whole $5 thing, this isn't gonna fix the game at all. Like, from right now, what I know from Trove, my knowledge about this game, the people I've met, the things that people are capable of doing, right now Trove is just not in a good place, and it's not gonna get better, because these band-aid fixes aren't really band-aid fixes. They're just gonna keep getting worse. In the devs' eyes, I don't know what they really think about all this. I have no idea who thought that this was gonna be a great idea, just a dev sitting in the chair being like, hey, let's make it so new players have to pay $5 and then they can have access to the trading, and then that'll fix the duping, because surely they wouldn't want to spend $5. Well, it's a horrible idea. They could have come up with a different solution.
Yeah, and I basically want to kind of talk about this. So basically he is kind of framing the problem, but he's not really providing any solutions. And no shade to Cash and Clean here but I would just like to see him kind of come up with some solutions to, okay, what can we do then to fix it, because he thinks it's a problem. And I'm not saying he doesn't work for Gamigo, or he's not a developer or anything like that, but I do think that it's very important that we do give a few, like, you don't like this, then give us some what you actually do want. And I know that he, of course, wants this to not be $5 restriction for the trading, and he doesn't want, of course, those things to trade, those duping things. He doesn't want that either. But again, I would just like to see a few solutions to it. But again, I don't have them either myself, so I'm not really blaming him for here. But it's more of a general thing that I do see. So it's not specifically on Cash and Clean. It's more of a general thing that people just said, I don't like this, and then that's just it. Like, then they're just like, okay, where do we go from here, right? So it was more of a general thing. I've said this before, so I just wanted to mention it again. So no shade to Cash and Clean.
I mean, I'm not really part of the dev team, so I can't really contribute in any way here. But if they actually go through,
I do want to say that you can contribute, and maybe not this situation, but you can give them feedback on what you want, and basically also what you don't want, that's kind of...
I can't really see people continuing to play Trove. Like, yeah, we have our core player base already. People are just going to end up quitting. People might even start getting trade banned.
I do want to say this, that people always kind of quit games. It's not a big deal. That's just what happens, and then people come back. I've seen plenty of people come back to Trove. I've seen many people also, I've seen many people leave. I've seen just as many people coming back to the game and kind of messaging to me, oh, do you still play? I haven't seen you in 2, 4, 5, 6 years or something like that. Sure, I do still play it. I don't play like I used to. I play always a few hours, maybe an hour, depending on how it basically goes, and what I want to do, and how things what updates there are, and what happens in other games as well. Because I just talked about Diablo 4. I've been really invested in that right now, for example, so I'm playing that a lot. So Trove is kind of on the minimum right now, and then when that Diablo dies out, the season, and I have to wait 3 months again for that, basically, for that thing, I will, play a little bit more Trove, or I'll play another game or something like that. So it is not only Trove in the world, and if you don't like Trove, you should definitely not play Trove. If you like Trove, you should keep playing Trove. That's kind of it. And again, you can still be playing the game even if you just log in every day. That's what I've done a few times, so don't get me wrong, playing the game doesn't mean that you really invest a lot of time into it in some periods or not.
And because eventually the deep stone, the depths core, all that stuff is going to become tradable again. And they did announce that it'll come out in January. They didn't say when exactly, but in January they're gonna make Deepstone and Depths Core tradable again, and all the other items that they made untradable. I have no idea if they found a solution to that, but this is the thing. They're gonna be listed on the marketplace, people are gonna buy them, and there's just a possibility that people can get trade banned. And imagine paying $5 to get the marketplace and then just getting trade banned.
But I just want to say, yeah, it sucks if you get trade banned, but why would you get trade banned? It's because you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing, right? Like, it kind of doesn't make sense to me, like, kind of this statement where saying it doesn't, you know, if you get trade banned or if you get banned in general, you probably did something you shouldn't have. If you did, and if you didn't, then of course you can appeal, and then of course it will not happen. But I've been playing this game for 10 years. I've been playing this game for 10 years, and I've never gotten banned. I've never got to trade anything. I've never had anything at all. Maybe some people like reported me a bunch of times. I hope people have reported me a bunch of times, because that just shows that I have nothing to hide. I'm not, you know, not duping. I'm not speed hacking. I'm not doing anything that has that sort of criteria. So I would love people to. I'm not encouraging you to kind of waste the devs' times on that, but I don't mind because I've got nothing to hide. So if you do get trade banned, or you do get banned in general, then you probably did something wrong, because they definitely need those kind of, you know, evidence to do so. Because if you have spent a lot of money on the game, you can actually sue them for doing, you know, for banning you if don't have like valid grounds for it, and then you can like probably get your money back or whatever. You can do that. So they can't just go around and just banning it. That's also why it takes a very long time for actually, because they need to have those evidence to see that. Because if somebody goes ahead and you know, reports me, then they have to take that serious, because maybe I can also be a possibility doing that, right? So the point is that we should really you should really just, you know, don't do things, because then you are definitely not going to get to do these things because you are legit, right? So that's kind of how it is.
Like, it's horrible. I don't really understand the point of this. Now, I don't know if the devs are going to be watching this video in particular, but I really hope they reconsider this situation, because it's not good for the game. And if they want this game to last longer, they really got to think of other alternatives and actually get meaningful fixes, not just a temporary fix. Like, we've had the rampages disabled for so long now, like we can't even finish our badges. I mean, I know it doesn't...
Yeah, of course, but again, they didn't have to, again, I'm just saying, they have to basically disable the rampages because of people duping, right? So kind of if people just, again, stop doing that, then they would, like, don't have to disable them, right? Just makes, you know, kind of sense.
Apply to me, but there's a lot of people that need to finish them, but we just can't because it's disabled, and it's been disabled for a super long time. So, I don't know, I guess the code or just the game in general is just too complicated to fix nowadays, maybe. I would imagine. I guess that's why they just go with these temporary fixes. But if they never get a good way to optimize the game, then I can't really see this game lasting any longer. And personally, my enjoyment for this game has dropped a lot. So I personally can't really see myself playing this game any longer if this continues.
That's fine. People, again, stop. I've seen plenty of content creators coming into the game and playing the game and then leaving again. And that's just what happens. That's just what happens with the game. Like Sushi has said, like, I don't know, 10 million times. Okay, that's maybe also kind of a lot. But he has at least like 3 or 4 times said he's going to quit Trove. And it's all just for bait. I'm not saying that Cash and Clean is doing that. I'm not comparing him to that. But I'm just saying he said it like 4 or 5 times that he's going to quit. And he's not going to quit because he knows it's like his living, right? I'm talking about Sushi again, of course. It's not Cash and Clean has a job and such, so I'm not talking anything about that. I really like Cash and Clean, but my point is just that if people, you know, quit the game, then people come back to the game, and some people don't ever come back, and that's just how it goes for every game. It's not only Trove. So just keep that in mind.
If things change for the better, then maybe I can see myself playing this game.
Again, I would like him to see, like, for the better. What sort of for the better? But again, I'm pretty sure he means, of course, you know, the duping and stuff like that. Again, what the solution is, that's
but right now there's nothing. Like, I'm gonna give you guys an example. I can join a D15 and I guarantee you I can find people teleporting to dungeons. Like, it's just become so normalized now and nothing gets done about it.
So
and
anymore,
there are people out there with millions upon millions of these duped items, and
then of course report those people if you see them teleporting, and then yeah. Better to report one too many times than one too less time, right?
Eventually, once they become tradable, they're gonna go on the market. I already know it. And another issue that kind of comes about is when they ban players. So I think it's fine that they're banning people for obviously cheating and just duping and just profiting from the game and stuff like that. But if they have the knowledge to do it again, like just to dupe again, what's stopping them from just creating a new account and then just doing the same thing again? And this
Yeah, and I totally get this as a problem. You know, people can just make, but at least they're giving, you know, the devs $5 to pay them. You know, so if they're making 100 accounts, for example, that's $500 they have to. And sure, they might have the money for it. Don't get me wrong, but at least they're getting $500, which they can then pay some more people that, you know, might be better at fixing the game. So there is also an upside to paying those, because it is a free-to-play game, so they're not. You know, they can't. Maybe some month they're basically in the negative. Who knows about Trove, right? And sometimes they might be in the positive, and that's just basically how it goes, right? So I don't really like it. There's at least something that they're getting out of it, and I'm not saying it. Paying real money is the right solution, but
this doesn't really just apply to PC. This applies to console. Like the market for console has been affected for so long. They may as well add a subscription to the marketplace or something at this point if they're just trying to make money. I mean, they can make money in so many different ways.
So right here, I think that he could also explain what sort of ways they could make money. But yeah, again, he kind of says it in a way where it's kind of like content creators and stuff like that. But, yeah.
But they don't really capitalize on it. And if there was something actually meaningful in the store, we have content creators. We can promote it and we can help drive their sales.
100%, but then we also have to be positive about the game. I'm not saying he should just like say, hey, this is a great change if he doesn't think it's a great change. 100%, you should be totally honest about it. But when he says he can't recommend this game to new players, well, you know, yeah, I feel also kind of saying that you should probably also be kind of positive in some ways. Find a positive in it, like kind of what I feel like I'm trying to feel. Like I'm both, like that's why I'm neutral. I've said that when I began, that I'm neutral about this, because I'm not actually sure if this is a good idea, but I am definitely not sure about other alternatives to it, and I don't have a solution to what is going to happen other than, again, they fixing their game or the dupers stop duping. Basically like that, right? That's the only ones I have, but that doesn't provide very much. But kind of that's
like I was actually going to promote their patron on Black Friday. I guess they call it Block Friday. They usually have patron on a discount, but they didn't bring that back this year for some reason. And I was going to promote it, telling you guys that it is a pretty decent option if you're looking to play the game long term. But I never bothered making that video because the deal never came out, so I just couldn't make that video. So I guess with that out of the way, let me know your thoughts overall on what you think about this marketplace situation, because everyone I've talked to, they don't really like it. And there was even a post in the Trove Discord by NZ. So yeah, I'm not going to get into all of it, but NZ.
All right, so I read this. He's not going to go over all of these things, and the first long post about this is just kind of just framing the, you know, the problem and such. But the person do kind of access or kind of suggest some solutions, for example, game time or mastery or so on and so forth. And all of those, for example, also have loopholes. Mastery, how much mastery should it be, right? Because you already have 20 mastery to unlock that, to unlock. Maybe it should just be higher. Sure, I totally get that. Maybe it should just be higher. But then again, you're also making it harder for new players to do so, right? So the point is, that doesn't help a new player. Game time, again, that doesn't help a new player because you have to be like online, you know, for a certain amount of time, right? And maybe you're already going to do that. But other than that, game time can also have a loophole, for example, because they say, oh yeah, you have to be online for at least 10 hours. What makes the, you know, those dupers not just be online for, you know, 10 hours, right? Then you could do it in sort of, so you have to have certain batches or something like that. They're kind of doing that with the $5 thing. But game time, you can just be online, just create an account way before, have it be online for 10 hours, and then you have your account, right? That's super simple. And there's also other things that basically are mentioned, and I do feel like those are great solutions in some ways, but they also have their own loopholes. Again, the best solution is, of course, that either, again, the dupers stop, which is not going to be the case, or you basically fix the game so much that you can actually don't do any of these things as well. So again, I feel like there is a lot of great options. There is a lot of good discussion out there, but I'm just saying, we should definitely just keep an eye out and kind of provide the feedback that we do have. And I'm basically, the whole video is just, hey, there are nuances to everything, and it's not just this is bad, because people are also doing some bad things, right? So maybe this is a bad solution, but this is also what people are doing something bad, right? So I'm just saying we should really kind of get it all on the
he goes by
way.
CN on here. He's an endgame player, really nice guy. He put out an amazing statement, so if you guys do want to check it out, he goes
I think it is an amazing statement. Don't get me wrong,
thumbs
but
up, so I don't know
the point is that I don't kind of agree with like the conclusion that this is the stupidest things I've ever seen in my life. It's kind of weird. Just kind of just smacking on them for some reason. It's kind of unnecessary. I don't feel like there's kind of things to being like that. And of course there's also about a bunch of people, the community, the Discord is just turning into Reddit, where people just like negative for no reason. And I see people basically, they just like hammer people, the post that they make, and it doesn't feel very nice to see that there's just a lot of negativity around it. And I know that people, but when they do something nice, people are still negative about it. Like if they do something, like if they gave away like $100 million to all they'll say like, oh, why isn't it 200 million? I feel like there's just so much negativity. This is not about this, but it's just in general, basically. So like, calm down, guys, calm down. Like, just if you don't agree with it, just find something else to do. It's not that really that complicated. You don't really need to spew all your hatefulness and negativity and stuff like that.
The devs are gonna look into it or think about it or reconsider.
But he also, of course, that's the solutions that. That's the post that he was talking about. That was what I was talking about before, also about the.
It's gonna suck for the new players. So I've already said it. Anyone that asks me if they should get back into the game, I'm just gonna say it's not worth it, because I don't want to lie. Like, I'd rather, if you're.
So I totally want to address this, and I've said this way before. I've said it many times to, maybe not on videos, but I've definitely said it in on streams and stuff like that. People also ask me if it's worth getting into the game, and it's always 100% worth doing anything in life. Basically, it's basically just life. I'm not saying Trove is life. Life is Trove, right? But basically, try it out, see what you think about it, and then if there's bumps away along the way that you do not like, then there is many other options you can do. Don't make it like, okay, this game is bad. No, maybe this game is just not for you. Like, just like Overwatch, for example. He talked about Overwatch before. I played a little bit of Overwatch. It's not really my kind of deal. And there's also plenty other games out there that I definitely not think that I want to play. But does that mean that it's a bad game? No, because they have players, right? Like, I play League of Legends, but I don't really care for Heroes of New Worth, for example. Not really anything I've gotten into. I don't really, when I see it, it's kind of like I don't really understand it very much. That could also be kind of the issue. But my point is that doesn't make it a bad game. It just makes it a bad game for me, but it doesn't make it a game in general. And I really feel like you should definitely try Trove out. Even if you haven't, you should definitely check it out, because yes, maybe you only used 2 hours of it, but then at least there was free 2 hours. If you're going to play World of Warcraft, first of all, you have to buy a bunch of expansion. And I'm not saying again that Trove is World of Warcraft, but I'm just saying it's a lot easier just to say, okay, I played 2 hours of Trove. It's not the game for me. I haven't spent any money at all. I know that World of Warcraft also has that kind of start. You could get level 20 and such, but then you have to buy the game and all that stuff. Kind of like what they're doing right here, right? Kind of in a way. But my point just being that we do play video games, and you should always be responsible with your money. And again, if you play Trove, you will, get to a certain point, and then you have to decide if you want to keep playing. You're basically doing that all the time, right? And if it's not a game for you, you can just not play anymore, and that's totally legit. It's totally okay to play a game and then stop playing the game and then move on to another game. That is totally okay. It doesn't have to be because of that. Maybe somebody's gonna be like, oh, I really love that I have to pay $5. You can't say that everybody's gonna hate paying $5. Some people love paying $5. I talked about that on on that guy on the mobile game, right? He definitely loves spending that kind of money. I'm not saying I want to spend that kind of money on Trove. A devs would probably be very happy if I did so, but or anybody basically. But my point being is that you spend your money reasonable, and there's many reasons why people, start playing games and also stop playing games. I think the most problem is that people don't have anybody to play with, so I talk about that social update instead. So because it is proven that when people play with each other, they are going to, of course, play for longer because they find somebody to play with, and then they kind of join a community and they feel a part of sense of ability and all that stuff. So anyways, but I do want to say it's a decent video from Cash and Clean, and I will also be showing him before I post it. So if you never see this video, then it's because it's either too long or you kind of said that I was being too hard. Hopefully not. Much love, Cash and Clean. I still love you, bro. But yeah.
You're gonna invest your time into something, it just shouldn't be into this game unless you still continue to play it and you actually enjoy it. But if you're a returning player or a brand new player looking into the game and you think it's a good idea, I'm just gonna say don't do it, only because you can use that time for anything else and it'll probably benefit you more than this.
Is that you can't really suggest that. I say again, like I said before, you can't really say that. You should definitely say play Trove, and if you don't like it after 5 minutes, well, then nothing happened. You didn't lose anything. Oh, you lost 5 minutes, but yeah, you would also lose that on any other game if that was not a game for you. Maybe Trove is gonna be your favorite game. You never know. Like, I'm gonna take an example from real life, and I don't want to make this a way too long video. It's almost like almost 50 minutes, but I do want to say that I didn't know if I wanted to be a teacher, but I tried it out, and then I just loved it. I never thought I was gonna be a teacher, but I tried it. So just try things, and then you can always, like, there is some times where it's not like super easy to stop something or continue something in real life or in video games. But my point is just that you shouldn't be obligated to play anything. So try it out, and then it might end up being the best thing you've ever done in your life, or it might be the worst thing. Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell you how you are going to be in all of this, but all I know is that Trove has definitely been one of the best experiences in my personal life, and I want to continue supporting in the ways that I can, which is not in the money department.
This game has to offer. So there we go. Gave my honest thoughts. If they do end up making a change, I'll be sure to let you guys know, and maybe my opinions will change. Who knows? And also, just one more thing I want to add: the whole $5 thing. Like, yeah, I know it's not a lot of money. If you just work any job for an hour, or I don't know, you can mow your neighbor's lawn or something for a little bit of cash. You could do something like that. But to me personally, this just feels like a slap.
$5 can definitely be a lot of money for some people. It doesn't do that, but yeah, I think that kind of wraps it up. I'm sorry that it almost 50 minutes, this video right here, or at least close to it, but I did want to put in my 2 cents about it all, and then we also had to watch the video, some of the talking points. I couldn't really cut that out because it would lose some context in it as well. Maybe it'll be too long, but if you enjoyed me reacting to this instead of me just kind of saying, my plan was just to make a video that I said I just kind of liked it. So I think this might be better, but I also spoiled everything in the beginning by saying that I do like the update. So at least they're doing something. And again, I would just want to iterate that I definitely don't know what the solution is. And so I'm not against the $5. I'm not for the $5. I'm kind of neutral about it. I just want duping to stop. And I just want either people to stop, or they fix the game, or they put another band-aid on, or whatever fixes it in some way where they can kind of restrict it. And some, money do, have people doing things or stopping things that they should not be doing or whatever. But anyways, we'll see what happens. We just have to go with the flow. We can put our input, but in the end, it's the devs that decide it. And if the game dies out, it dies out. That's just how life is. And then we're gonna move on to another game, and that's just the cycle of life, right? That's the cycle of gaming. That one game lives and another dies. That's also what it happens. And as long as Trove is not completely, if I can log into the game, I feel like the game is still alive for me, but it might not be alive for somebody else. That's just their opinion. But I don't really care if Trove is dead or not dead. I still gonna continue playing the game. I'm still going to make content for it if they're possible, and hopefully some of people are also going to stick around to do so. I really hope Cash and Clean doesn't quit in the end, but we'll see. I really like the guy. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it's terribly long and I had a lot of rambling to do, but I just wanted to mention all of these things because actually been on my mind for a long time. You know, all these things I see people being negative and all these things, and I don't really feel like it's necessary to do so. I feel like it's more being constructive instead of being just negative. And I'm not saying he is being negative at all. I'm just saying that general people he's usually very positive about the game. So anyways, enough rambling for me. You guys probably clicked off the video already, but anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.